Hey, what's up? This is Peasant Journalist, chilling out here in Texas, thinking about all this heavy shit going on in the world. And the more and more that I dig into this stuff, the more I dig into it, the more I realize just how heavy this stuff is. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of talk through a video thread that I did on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, come check me out. Peasant Journalist, P-E-Z-N-T, at Peasant Journalist. And I've just been combing through lots of World Economic Forum reports, papers, videos, and just kind of trying to get as best of an understanding of these people as I possibly can to try and understand what's going on. But if you haven't seen some of my other threads about the World Economic Forum, I don't want to go into too much about who they are. And I don't want to go into all of the 1,000 companies that help fund it, that are partners with it. But I want to talk about this video, the speech from the World Economic Forum meeting in 2018 by Yuval Noah Harari. And I'd heard this guy's name, but I'd never looked up anything. You know, I didn't know a lot of kind of his thoughts and beliefs, and you know, and just most recently I've been thinking a lot about transhumanism and kind of where it seems like these global elites seem to be taking us towards this transhuman future. And it's caused me to really rethink the whole trans movement that we have going on now. Is that just a path where they're eventually trying to take us into this transhumanist movement? And it may sound very science fiction to some of you that may have not researched this, but I assure you that it's not just science fiction. This is reality within the next 5 to 10 years, depending on, you know, who gets control of this and you know, really what their worldview is. We don't really know what these people believe, what these elites truly believe about the world. We don't know their worldview or anything like that. But it could be a reality much sooner than people think. Most people are oblivious to what's really going on. So this video, he starts off talking about how that this is the last generation of Homo sapiens. So like basically we're about to become something else. We're about to enter this new stage of evolution. He says we'll learn to engineer bodies, brains, and minds, that this stuff will be the main products of our economy. And I'm not going to play these clips. I just want to talk through them. I want you to come check me out on Twitter, and you can find the link to all this stuff and listen to them at Peasant Journalist, P-E-Z-N-T. Number 2, he talks about those who control the data, however you want to say it. Don't give me any shit. Control the future, not just of humanity, but the future of life itself. So he ends up, his next point is he's emphasizing data, how data is going to be, you know, and even Klaus Schwab and all these elites, they know that data is, he compares it to like land, basically, like what used to be land as the greatest resource that empires were trying to get. If you had a lot of land, you had a lot of power. Now it's going to be data. The more data you can get a hold, and the better the data, then the more control, you know, or the more power you have, right? So comparing it to land. So anyways, so data is important. He says if the infotech revolution merges with the biotech revolution, what you get is the ability to hack human beings. Okay, and you gotta come check me out to verify this stuff, and I do post the link to the full video at the very end. Number 4, imagine the situation in 10 to 20 years when an algorithm can tell any teenager exactly whether, I think it's supposed to be whether, man, that's a typo, gosh dang it, whether he or she is gay, where he or she is on the gay straight spectrum. Sorry, I'm very tired. I've been staying up late nights recently looking at all this bullshit going on. Moving on. See if I've got my, no, of course I don't have my freaking internet. My internet keeps going out for some reason. Weird. Sorry, I don't know if this is affecting my internet or not, so just bear with me here. Number 5, he says, once we have algorithms that can understand me better than I understand myself, they could predict my desires, manipulate my emotions, and even take decisions on my behalf. And if we are not careful, the outcome might be the rise of digital dictatorships. And again, please forgive my punctuation and stuff on these. I'm just trying to conserve characters, etc. Digital dictatorships. So he ends up mentioning digital dictatorships. He says new tech may swing the pendulum. He was talking about democracy and like communism or like centralized approaches to government and economies and things like that. He's saying that democracy, he says democracy has won out. It was the better model. But he says that that pendulum could swing the other way, and that centralized data processing could make this centralized processing more efficient than distributed processing, which is more, spread out. And if democracy cannot adapt to these new conditions, then humans will come to live under the rule of digital dictatorships. So basically, if democracy cannot accept centralized data, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's what it seems like he's saying. Come check me out again, Peasant Journalist, Twitter. Centralized data processing is going to be far more efficient than distributed processing. Okay, so if democracy cannot adapt to these conditions, then humans will come to live under a digital dictatorship. So basically, we've got to accept centralized data. That's what he's saying. We've got to, like, democracy has to adopt these things. We can't let it come under communism. If communists get a hold of this, it's like they're trying to stir up the communist fear again or something. I don't know. It's interesting that he's saying that it has to be centralized under the Western rule, the Western elites. Control of data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to engineer the future of life itself. I think he says engineer and not re-engineer. I think I made that mistake. But either way, he's saying that the control of this data could allow elites to do something even more than digital dictatorships. Again, and here he is speaking to a room full of elites. Okay, so what is he doing? Is he pitching them the idea? What is he doing here? Like, what is the point of that? And forgive me for these planes coming by. I live right near an airport. Forgive me for that. I got to update some equipment here. I'm getting into this shit. I'm not backing down. They can come after me all they want. If indeed we succeed, he says, if indeed we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity. This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life. Wow. Number 9, he says, science is replacing evolution by natural selection. Science is replacing natural evolution, natural selection, by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design. Wow. I mean, this is like truly biblical stuff, like man trying to become God. I mean, again, I lost faith in Christianity. I actually went to seminary, and I lost faith in seminary. I just became very skeptical as I learned about, all the different denominations, and again, I wrestled with the goodness of God and with evil existing and all these things. I wrestled with a lot of things, and that was mainly while the world was normal. While the world was normal, that was easy to live that way, and to kind of reject God. And now as the world is becoming more and more unnatural and unnormal and chaotic. And then when you see what these people are talking about, it definitely makes one have to face reality and and try and fit what's going on back into my worldview. It's changed my worldview completely. So anyways, let's keep moving on here. I mean, man trying to become like God. I mean, it's heavy stuff. It says science may enable life to break out into the inorganic realm. After 4 billion years, we are entering the era of inorganic life, life shaped by intelligent design. And again, the intelligent design is their intelligent design, because they're the ones creating all this stuff and leading it. We have no say-so in any of this stuff. And that's the biggest problem. I'm not against technology, but I am against rushing into stuff that is going to absolutely change humanity and biology. Should we not gather lots of different types of people together right now and start talking about this stuff? How is this going to unfold? What do we want this to become? Why are we not having these debates out in the open with everybody able to hear? Because people are clueless about where this is headed. And that's what makes me think that it's more of, they're trying to bring it in under the radar, kind of. Makes me even more skeptical. Again, I'm not against technology, healing people and helping people. But, if you're fundamentally going to change life and alter life, then that, again, I don't know how I feel about that. It's heavy stuff. And again, these people, the way these people look at it, they look at it as we're not evolved enough to understand it. They have a higher level of thinking than us, Anyways, let's keep going. Read that one. He said, this is why the ownership of data is so important. If we don't regulate it, a tiny elite may come to control not just the future of human societies, but the shape of life forms in the future. So not just shape human societies, but they could be able to shape life forms in the future. And then this is interesting. They sit down for like a question and answer, and she was just asking, like, who do you think kind of knows about this, like where this is headed? And he says, I guess some of the big corporations like Google, like Facebook, the usual suspects, they understand what's at stake. And he said, I also think that some governments, especially the Chinese government, they understand what's at stake as far as, this artificial intelligence and getting a hold of this technology. He says, most humans have no idea, though. The biometric data is key. What someone's really trying to hack is our brains. And then this is one of the most interesting questions she asked. She's like, so who should control this? If it's possible that there could be digital dictatorships and all of these things. Do you think the scientists should take control? Do you want the United Nations to take control? Do you think the United Nations is capable? What about the World Economic Forum? I mean, could all the people here take control of this? Like, she literally says that, And so again, we can look at it as she's just joking around, or we could maybe possibly think about possibilities, and that maybe this is something they're actually trying to do. And then at the very end, he says, people will give up their privacy in exchange for healthcare, and maybe in many places they won't have a choice. They won't even get insurance if they're unwilling to give access to what is happening inside their bodies. So again, to me, I mean, this stuff is just getting so heavy. Come find me, Peasant Journalist, on Twitter, PEZNT. Follow me on YouTube as well. I'm digging deep. I'm going deep. I'm going as far as I can. Because I feel an urgency here. I really do feel an urgency that we're in a critical time in this world. So, peace.